It is my pleasure to introduce our second company, Plantify Foods. Presenting today is Plantify CEO Suzette Ramcharan and CFO Gabby Cabazo. Plantify Foods is committed to providing consumers with nutritious, clean label food options while pioneering innovation in the food and beverage industry. The company has a simple mission to ensure that everyone has access to high quality food alternatives that are clean and healthy, nutritious and tasty, that use whole natural ingredients and are easy to prepare. Plantify Foods, through its wholly owned Israeli subsidiary, currently sells its diverse range of products in Israel and is actively expanding its footprint across Europe and North America. With its new manufacturing facility, the company can increase production and create new clean label food products to meet the growing demand for health-conscious consumers from all walks of life. Suzette and Gabby, over to you both.
Thank you, ladies, and thank you to everyone that's joining us today virtually. You guys did a great job. I don't need to do a presentation. You touched on all the high points. But I am the new CEO. I officially started September 1st. Very excited to be here. And I'll start with just a brief background about myself. I've spent 21 years in capital markets, working for small to large cap companies, mainly in the metals and mining sector, from explorers, developers to producers in gold. So I was essentially a gold digger. I then consulted, which allowed me to support cannabis and tech companies. I worked with a colleague and business partner on a tech startup where we created a mobile CRM platform. And then in 2021, I started working on a non-alcoholic beverage company called Drink, where we produced in an RTD format, so ready to drink format, low sugar mocktails, and we gained national distribution last year. But I'm here now with Plantify, and I'm very pleased to introduce you to the story. This company and the opportunity is one I consider very unique and one that resonated with my own core values. I had an opportunity to visit the operations last week and sample all of the food products, which were amazing. Unfortunately, I wish we could sample it virtually, but we can't. But one of the things I wanted to look at was where we could have some challenges down the road. And I can't stress enough how important it was to understand that as we're in a growth phase. And I have to say that the Israeli operations, they've done an excellent job in the development of the products and in prepping and planning for our inevitable expansion. Growing pains for a small company like us have a tendency to derail and sidetrack, but our team have gone the extra mile. And I truly feel they've set us up for success, and gives me a lot of comfort coming into this role. Next slide, please. So one of the first questions that I asked the team was, what was the mission? I wanted to really understand what was the impetus for starting the company. What was the problem that they were trying to find a solution for? And the answer was quite simple. We want to feed our family better food. And so at Plantify, we are focused on developing products made from whole natural ingredients without the use of preservatives. We are a true example of a clean label food company, meaning that our products are as close to their natural state as possible, as if you were to make it at home yourself. Next slide, please. So we have some unique selling points, and I think they're quite simple. First and foremost, food should taste good. We don't want to compromise on taste just because something is considered healthy. I switched my diet about 10 or 12 years ago. I became gluten-free. And back then there were not a lot of products on the market, let alone products that tasted good. And it was extremely difficult for me to embrace this new lifestyle, let's call it. I, first and foremost, really don't want to sacrifice taste. I'm a foodie. I think a lot of us, majority of us, we eat for sustenance, but we eat for pleasure too. We eat in company. We eat for good times. We want the food to taste good. And I think, the team has spent a lot of time investing in our recipes and our process to ensure that our products taste amazing. Secondly, clean label food. As I said before, we're utilizing whole natural ingredients and minimal processing. So you can be assured you know what it is you're eating. It's clean label food that's in high demand. because consumers, again, are looking for quality, are looking for health. We don't want to see chemicals and preservatives and ingredient lists that we really just don't understand. And I think that's a competitive edge that we have here at Plantify. You can read the ingredient list and you're going to understand, you're going to recognize all of the ingredients. And when you're eating the food, you're tasting the whole food ingredient. If it's parsley, you're going to taste parsley. It's not a parsley extract. And that is really the vision for clean label food. We've also developed quite a broad range of products. I can't remember how many I tasted, but believe me, I probably gained like 5 pounds on this trip. But they're easy and convenient, and they're for almost every meal or any occasion. So we've got dips and spreads, which can allow you to spice up your appetizers, your snack offering, your sandwiches, to the main meals, which come in the form of our balls and nuggets, our soups, and our stews. You name it, we've probably got you covered with the broad range of products that we've been able to develop. Next slide, please. So talking about our competitive advantage or edge, again, healthy and nutritious. While you've probably not seen us in your grocery stores here in North America, that's just a function of us starting to develop our sales channels over in new markets such as North America and Europe. But again, we're healthy and nutritious, clean label food. And one of the key differentiators for us is that our products, without the use of preservatives, carry a similar, if not better, shelf life than our competitors who do use preservatives. So our lives have gotten busier. We really don't have time. Like I said, when I went gluten-free, I had to almost adjust my entire lifestyle. Today, we don't have time to do that. We want something that's going to fit into our regular shopping routine, our regular cooking routine. And I think Plantify offers a variety of products that answer that question. So consumers are seeking both health and convenience, and we are here to provide that for you with not just great tasting foods, but something that is healthy as well. We do have an omni-channel sales strategy where we are able to penetrate new markets quite quickly. And we are servicing direct to retail. We're servicing the professional markets through food service. And we also have white label options. Our new factory, and I think we've mentioned this already, is built to scale, which allows us to maintain growth and mitigate any challenges with that growth. So our current capacity allows us to support our North American entry and gives us enough runway that we can plan for any additional growth that we may need. So for example, the current capacity that we have can be doubled quite easily. We can then double it again with some small expansion and minor capital investments. But that's going to give us a runway where we are continuously testing the products that are selling, streamlining the products that are coming into new markets. And then we have more than enough time to make a decision whether a manufacturing facility somewhere maybe on this side of the world makes more sense for us. So again, I think the team has done a really good job of just setting ourselves up for continued growth. We can see extreme growth and still meet those demands. And we mitigate a lot of the challenges when it comes to growing and expanding your operations. And then our R&D team are constantly working on new products, refining the current products and new products. And one of the philosophies that was drilled home to me during my metals and mining days is continuous improvement. And it's something that I actually like to employ in my personal life as well. I love to grow. I love to innovate. I love to just be a better person than I was yesterday. Well, when it comes to our process, our food, anything like that, we will continuously look at ways to improve. If something tastes good, could it taste better? If something needs to be tweaked, can we tweak it and make it even better? And I think that is something and a philosophy that a lot of companies should employ. As well, we want to make sure that we're continuously bringing out new and exciting products so you don't get stale with the product line that we have. So R&D is very important to us. And I think one of the most exciting things for us is our foray into functional foods. And when we're talking functional foods, we're talking food tech, but we're talking food tech so that we can look at food as a way to heal. So food not only has the ability to maintain one's health, but with functional foods, we have the possibility of treating chronic illnesses. And I think this is really the future of food and beverage. And I think this is going to be quite a game changer for us here at Plantify. Next slide, please. So, as I said, you probably haven't seen us in North America. We've just started to penetrate this market. We're working on increasing our sales here, and we're fairly new. But as our products get better known, I see strong demand and growth. Our revenues, as illustrated on this slide, have grown 102% over year-to-date 2022. With our new facility, we're able to increase production to meet the growing sales demand, which should see us profitable next year. I would say probably in the latter half of next year. The share price has been trading in around the 3-cent range, but I think that the marketing outreach we're going to do, the products that we're going to bring to market, additional products that we're bringing to market, sales increasing throughout Europe and North America, and our food tech division, which is our functional foods, I think we will see a lot of interest and demand in the stock side start to increase. Next slide, please. So why am I so confident sitting here and talking to you about Plantify Foods? I think, we can look at consumer trends. We can look at the consumer demand, and lifestyles and needs are changing. We are seeing a lot of people change their eating habits based on health concerns, and also most recently based on inflation. Everything has gotten more expensive, and we're looking for ways to mix things up while not spending an arm and a leg on feeding our families. So we've seen all the projections. We look at the target for plant-based food markets is expected to hit 162 billion by the year 2030. And then when we look at a subsect of that, of the clean label food market, it's also in the billions. It's expected to grow to 32 billion by the year 2026. But simply put, I like to say Plantify is a food company, and I think we can stand against any company, whether they're meat or plant-based. I think we have a product that is in demand by any and everyone. And again, given the variety, I think you'll find something that you will enjoy no matter what. We are set up to scale, as I spoke about before, and we are able to meet the demand as we continue to grow in new markets. We've already started to penetrate Europe. We've started to penetrate North America. North America will be quite big for us, given the size of the population, not just Canada, but obviously the US. And I think, it's a product that's in high demand on this side of the world. And we are set up to meet that demand quite significantly. We have staying power. We will continue to create new products. We will create a community. We will start to promote recipes and menus for our customers so that you don't have to think about how to prepare the food or allow you to have variety in what you serve your family. So we want to create this community to follow us. And while this is not the core of our business, I think the R&D into functional foods will maintain the excitement for us as we go forward and could be a possible significant catalyst that'll truly set us apart. So I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this, and I've done it probably under time, so we're open for questions.
Thank you, Suzette and Gabby, for that overview, and welcome to the Plantify family. As a reminder here, anyone who would like to ask a question, please type it in the Q&A box. So we have a few questions here. So Suzette, you talked about having no harmful additives to your product and keeping the taste. Can you elaborate more on that? I know that's really important for your company to keep the taste, even though without any additives.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, and I'm glad I had an opportunity to experience this myself with the beverage company. I didn't understand the preservatives and the pasteurization as well. So when we were building drink, I wanted something that used natural ingredients and that was minimally processed, but we needed to preserve it, especially for beverages. We wanted a 12-month shelf life. So we went the pasteurization route. With pasteurization, you're essentially heating up the product, so you're losing a lot of flavors. So in that process of the R&D, when we were doing that, we had to bump up flavors to mitigate the result of pasteurization. So again, for Plantify, we have developed a proprietary process which allows us to develop the food and the process in creating that food doesn't require the use of preservatives, which are chemical additives, or pasteurization. And because if you were going to use chemical additives, you're going to change the taste slightly. So sometimes there's an aftertaste, or there's just something that hits differently. It's not like if something you were cooking with whole ingredients at home. When it comes to pasteurization, you're heating it, so you'd have to bump up the flavor profile, and that's where you get into adding extracts and things like this. So this is what we mean by clean label. It is as minimally processed as you can get.
You talked about the company being a food company. We understand in terms of your market, I think you're targeting the flexitarian. Can you speak more about this market opportunity?
Yeah, and again, the numbers that we showed on the plant-based projections for demand, it's mainly driven by flexitarians. And for anyone that's not familiar with the term, a flexitarian is someone that's a vegetarian but also still eat meat. So I would consider myself a flexitarian. I don't sit here and plan out my days of vegetarian days or meat days. It's kind of just go with the flow. But I'm incorporating a lot of vegetables into my meals, and not every meal has an animal protein associated with it. So this subsect of consumer in the food industry was, I think, really driven by the shift in our view on how we eat and the health concerns we had around consuming a lot of mainly red meat. And we've, over the course of the evolution of food and society, we learn and we adapt, and we learn and we adapt. And this is where the consumers for food demand are going. And so the flexitarians are really driving demand, but for everything. And that's why I say Plantify is a food company, not just a plant-based food company. We are plant-based, which is great. So if you are vegan or vegetarian, we are going to allow you to eat comfortably. But if you're a flexitarian, it's going to fit into your lifestyle. If you're a carnivore, you're still going to want something to go on the side of that meat. I think we have something for everyone. And that's why I like to say we're a food company.
Great. That's great. Thank you. What is your geographic breakdown of your distribution today, Suzette or Gabby?
Yeah,
Gabby, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I will just have it open here. 1 second, sorry. We have a new market, as Suzette referred to earlier. In 2023, we started to sell in France and Belgium, thus Europe. So far, our sales are about 45% USA, about 30% Europe, and the rest in Israel. So, and the growth both in the US and Europe is quite significant this year compared to next year. So this is where we see the future. Israel is a small country. There's a limit how much we can sell there.
Okay. And how many of your products are white labeled versus your own brand?
Majority is white label. So the majority of our sales is white label. Then we also sell to institutions, and then there is a minority of our own brand. So it would be around 60% white label.
Yeah, and if I can just add to that, for us, white label is low-hanging fruit. Let's put it that way. It allows us to produce and scale and penetrate markets. But the more people get used to the products, whether it's white labeled or not, we can point it and say, yeah, that's a Plantify product. We'll start to see the demand on the direct-to-retail side. And I think direct-to-retail is going to be huge for us over in North America.
Okay, thank you. And Suzette, I know you're new, but question here, what's a Plantify strategic roadmap ahead, specifically in terms of how management is thinking about scaling the operations?
Geez, who asked that question? Thanks. I'll be honest, there's high level things that we've already discussed, but there's no decisive roadmap. But when I look at it, like I said, visiting the operations was key for me to see the way it's set up, to see the way it's scaled. And I think the benefit for me is working on large capital intensive projects like mining, when you're developing and then putting a mine into production. There are so many things that can go wrong. And then I've also been involved in a number of M&A transactions. When you're growing, either through organic growth by scaling your operations or through acquisition, there's a lot of room for error. And there's a lot of things that aren't usually thought out, because as you're running your business, you know, you want to keep that end goal in sight, and you want to keep all those plans, but you're kind of focused and your head is down. So that's one of the things that I said gives me comfort, is the team have done an excellent job in, I would say, you know, being very cautious, but setting ourselves up for extreme growth. So we have been relatively cautious. And again, that's why we were doing mostly white label. But now that we have the new facility, and that facility is scalable, and we can really just go out there and push the sales are going to drive the production, but we're not selling, driving production, and then stopping to expand. We have that runway and we have that platform. So on an operations side, I don't see any issues with our abilities to grow and scale and meet demand. On a capital market side, we are working on a 12-month program. Obviously, with the help of IR Labs, we are going to start to really sell the story, the benefits. And again, I like this story because it fits my lifestyle, it fits my core values, and you know, I want to heal the world, and I think we have an opportunity to do that. So really just getting the story out there, and then being a thought leader, providing information, providing knowledge so that people can make informed decisions. That's something that's very close to my heart. So tying all of that in, and utilizing whatever avenues we can to get the story out, I think it'll be one to watch for sure.